we start now. First question for Richard. You developed the 7 dimensions of singing technique. Which dimension, which element is the most important in singing, in your opinion?
That is a loaded question.
Yeah.
It's all of the dimensions exist together, and that's what makes. Oh, this week for recording it. All of the dimensions together is what makes a great voice. So when you have any one of them missing, or there's lesser, it takes away the choices for the singer. So if they struggle with articulation, or if they struggle with breathing, if one of those things aren't strong, it has an impact on the whole of the voice. That being said, tone, I think, is our unconscious communication with each other. I don't have to understand Polish to know your smile and want to give you a hug, right? And the tone of your voice is inviting and warm. So at the very base, if the tone is present, you can follow the story, happy, angry, sad, longing. And I think that is the most important. And then building out on the others allows the artist to express themselves to their fullest. So
what you're saying is similar to Dimash says, because in his opinion, the most important thing is to deliver emotions.
Yes, and that would be the tonal aspects, which he does so well.
Johnny,
yes.
You're a composer, a songwriter.
Yes.
What does a good song mean? Is it about catchy melody or something different?
What does a good song mean?
Yeah.
What makes a good song? I don't really know. I've been doing this for 25 years and I still don't know the answer yet. It's still always been a mystery that keeps me searching. You know, it's an answer that I know that I'll never find, but I'm still going to keep searching for it. But I think if you can get a catchy melody with a song that just moves you, you know, melodically and lyrically, sometimes you get one or the other, but if you can get both of those, that's sort of the pinnacle of songwriting success, I think. And it's rare, and it's elusive, and it's difficult to obtain, but when you do it, it's a feeling that you try to capture as much as you can. So,
it kind of, just to jump on that, it kind of goes back to tone again, in the sense of telling the story, not the actual tone itself, but it's a challenging question because it's asking, how does a piece of art, what makes a piece of art good? And of course everybody resonates with that song or that piece of art very differently. So I don't think there's a universal formula, and that's why it's hard to answer. There's magic.
It would be too easy.
Yeah.
If there was such a recipe for a song.
yeah, if I knew the recipe, I would do it every single time, and I don't, unfortunately. But when I do it, it's a really good feeling.
Although we listened to your album on Spotify.
Oh, you have?
And it's great, really.
Thank you
We
so
liked
much.
it a lot.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
He's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, mine too, really.
Well,
I'm not exaggerating.
going to that, that album came very much from the heart, and I think that's an ingredient for a successful song.
Richard, can anyone learn to sing? Because I found this sentence on your social media: if you can speak, you can sing.
If you can speak, you can sing. So the idea is, if you can walk, you can dance. If you can hold a brush, you can paint. So, of course, there's different levels of skill that might come more easily to one over someone else. Johnny has an advantage to play basketball over me because he's a lot taller. So there's a genetic factor that can assist, but it doesn't mean that I still can't become the best basketball player I'm capable of if I put my time, my effort. By the way, that will never happen because I am not sports
So
passionate.
if I do vocal exercises for 20 years, I would not be as good as Dimash, right?
Well, genetics play a role. So, the shape and size of your tongue and your musical ear, if you have perfect pitch or not, if you play other instruments, all of those things come together. But you don't have to be as good as Dimash to still reach someone with a heart. And that's the beauty of art. But when you have somebody like Dimash, who sets the standard for skill all the way around, and can reach the heart, that's when it becomes immensely special.
Yeah.
So anybody who can speak can learn to move their voice and improve their voice to tell a story. It just may not be at the same skill level as somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Johnny, the next question is for you, because you're a songwriter. Dimash is also a composer. His compositions are, for example, The Story of One Sky, that you've heard,
Yes.
for sure. When I've Got You, Be With Me, Give Me Your Love. What do you think about these compositions? Is Dimash a good composer?
I think Dimash is an amazing composer, and I think the really special thing about his compositions are that he throws aside conventions and trying to stick within a certain format. And going back to the question I answered before, he really writes from the heart. He writes from a very authentic place, a place that resonates with him. So,
But his knowledge in music allows him to. Sorry, it's hard to. That's why I can't help but add to that, because it's an exciting concept, and not to disrupt, but it's coming from the heart. But it's his musical ability to support being able to tell that story.
Yeah.
I think it's.
no, I mean that's the artistic approach. But technically speaking, he's got an amazing ear. I mean, probably perfect pitch.
Just like you.
Just or he writes also to his strengths as well, and that's a great thing as a song. An important thing as a songwriter to know what instrument you're writing for. In this case, he's writing for his own instrument, which is pretty much boundless and limitless, and that can be a challenge to write a song that really accentuates all of his strengths, which are plentiful. So he's a great artist, but he's also a great craftsman too. And I think that's important.
Good way.
Yeah.
Question to both of you. If Dimash asked you to write a song for him, what would it be like? What genre?
Yes, no hesitation. Yes. We get a lot of comments about that. Like, Johnny, you should write a song for Dimash. I would love to if he ends up knowing of our existence at some point, and that connection is made. I would do it in a
Just drop
of a
everything.
hat. Yes.
Yeah.
That would be a dream come true.
And
My contribution
what
to that
genre
would be
would
supporting
you
him
choose?
to do it.
What genre?
What
Genre.
I would probably, just for my own selfish reasons of being able to really show off, because I could write him a pop song that's a little bit more, like in the box a little
USA based.
based. I would like to write something that's a little more adventurous, because I don't get the opportunity to do that as much. To have that palette to work with, that endless palette of colors and everything you can do is, I've never experienced anything remotely close to that, so that would be a fun adventure for me. Yeah.
If you had to describe Dimash in 2 sentences to someone who has never heard of him, what would you say?
In 2 sentences?
Yeah.
This is music from a celestial being that will change your life in countless and profound ways, and you will never be the same after you hear it. What about you?
Ditto. I don't know how to explain that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's, you know what it is? It's an artist that allows you to see and experience outside of the box you are likely used to. So whether you like it or not, it opens up curiosity and it breaks the mold of what might be possible. And I think there's so much value in that for everybody.
And the last question. We have 2-3 hours to the concert left. What do you expect? You must have very high expectations.
A magical experience, because just based on what we've seen from the fans, I mean, if it wasn't a life-altering experience, people wouldn't be this exuberant, and they wouldn't have such beautiful performances like what you guys did. I mean, this is really one of the most passionate fan bases that.
Are you as good as Pentatonics?
It's just different, you know.
It was a joke. Of course, we're not.
I mean, people, you know, I've been talking to a bunch of fans, and basically the agreement is we have to sort of put Dimash in a separate category. Otherwise, you know, it's like we got to give others a chance too. You know, it's like he's just. I mean, everybody's depending on your taste. You know, everybody's got something to like, and some of my favorite music is not necessarily the greatest singers in the world, but when I find one of the greatest singers in the world, if not the greatest singer in the world, I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
What was the question?
What do you expect?
Oh, what do you expect?
Oh, did I answer the question?
I don't know. I expect, you know, whenever I go to see, I think that's the excitement of going to see something live, is you remove a sense of expectation. Of course, you want it to be great. You want to feel something. You want to, you know, experience that presence from the singer and the band and the people around you. So I guess subconsciously I do expect a high degree in that level, but consciously and unconsciously, emotionally, I'm hoping for an experience beyond what we've just seen through a digital format. Because that's all we have so far. We haven't heard his voice resonating in a live room before. So I don't know what that expectation is, other than we're just excited to experience it.
So both of us are very spiritual people, and I think we're expecting a very spiritual experience of just a transcendent experience of basically the divine channeling itself through this
probably
amazing artist. Yes, a lot of box of tissues, but just
We're all gonna cry, so don't worry.
just a divine transcendent experience where time stands still, and you know, it's going to be something to remember for the rest of our lives.
Okay, thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you.
And thank you once again.
Everyone, we're on count of 3. We're going to yell Dimash. As long as you can. Long Dimash. Long Dimash. Okay, sorry. So 1, 2, 3.